FAQ Friday number 13. We're going to be talking about why we can't see God. And there are different ways you can think about the word see, but let's just try to simplify this. Okay, we're going to talk about one verse right now that says that we can't see God. Exodus 33, verse 20. But he said, "You cannot see my face," talking about God. "For man shall not see me and live." Okay? Now let's go to a different verse that says that we can see God. Matthew chapter 5, verse 8 says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Okay, so now we have these two different understandings, two different perspectives, but they're not separate. They're not separate. God's plan is perfect, okay? Get that in your head right now. God's plan is perfect. And just because these two verses say two different things, and our human minds don't get that meaning that God is imperfect, so there's contradicting views in the Bible. No, I'm going to explain that. Okay? So first, ways that Christians can see God. When Christians are brought into God's glory, and when God takes them as his own, we are exposed to the glory of God. We experience a new joy, a new peace, a new healing in our life, and we see it in our words, in the things that we put in our ears, and the things we put in front of our eyes, and our actions, the way that we are not changed in living for Christ. And other people see that too, and we can see that change in other people's lives. Also, straight up, God sent his one and only Son, Christ, to live and die on the cross. And that was a physical manifestation. That was God in the flesh on earth. So, I mean, you don't have to be a Christian to know that. Christ, Jesus, walked on this earth. That's how we can see God in that sense. And so knowing this, think about the ways that you can live to pursue Christ more fully, to more fully experience and see his glory. Knowing that. So those are the ways you can see God, okay? But now I'm going to talk about, back to the question, why we can't see God. And the simple answer, and people sometimes don't actually know this, they think he's like some mysterious man in the sky, God. He's actually sitting on that cloud right now, but we just can't see him because the clouds, no, get that idea out of your head. No, God is a spirit. Okay, that's the first and foremost thing you need to understand. God is a spirit, and we, as weak, fleshly creatures, cannot see that. But more fully, to explain this, in our weakness, is that our weakness blocks a lot of our experiences and our ways from seeing God's glory, especially for non-Christians. Them being weak in their eyes and their ears and their mouth, that blocks their connection. And some believers, when they have these seasons where they're listening to these bad songs, when they're watching these bad movies, when they're talking and gossiping with their friends, they find that it's harder to see the way that God's moving in their life. But the truth is, because we're sinful, because we're weak, it creates that separation between us and God. And it's only through Christ that bridges that separation. But when we experience and see that glory most fully in God is when we're faithful and believing in him. So I encourage you, a lot of the times we can't see God is because we're unfaithful. God has revealed himself to us through Jesus and through his straight up creation. So knowing that, pursue Christ with a desire to see God's glory more fully. Let me say that again. Pursue Christ because you want to see God's glory more fully. Because as unbelievers, we can't see God. We can't appreciate God in the way that we will if we are believers. So if you consider yourself a believer, if others have seen fruit in your life, continue to pursue God because you will experience his glory like that.